Welcome to our global affairs analysis. A defiant message has just been issued from Moscow in a direct and pointed response to you. President Donald Trump's bold declaration at the United Nations. At the General Assembly, President Trump suggested that Ukraine could and should push to retake all of its occupied land. The Kremlin's reply was swift and uncompromising. Speaking to reporters, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov called the idea that Ukraine could recapture its lost territories a mistaken fantasy. He stated emphatically that Russia's military campaign is not aimless and that the objectives laid out by President Putin from the very beginning will be achieved. But beneath this hardline stance lies a fascinatingly different message, one seemingly directed not at the world, but at one man, Donald Trump. While dismissing Trump's pro-Ukrainian rhetoric, Peskov simultaneously stated that Russia wants to accelerate work to remove irritants in its ties with the United States, adding that many areas for profitable cooperation remain open. This dual messaging reveals the core of the Kremlin's current strategy. In a deeper, revealing interview, Peskov framed the conflict not as a choice, but as a historic necessity. He described what is happening not merely as an operation, but as a war, calling it the most acute, fateful stage that Russia must win for our children, for our grandchildren, for their future. He argued that President Putin had repeatedly tried to solve the root causes of this conflict through years of diplomacy with both the Obama and Biden administrations, only to be met with what he termed harsh refusals from America and Europe. The spokesman insisted on the principle of indivisibility of security, arguing that Europe cannot build its safety at the expense of Russia's. When questioned on the economy in the face of unprecedented Western sanctions, Peskov scoffed at the idea of Russia being a paper tiger, offering a powerful metaphor. He insisted that while Russia is more associated with a bear, there are no paper bears, and that the nation maintains its economic resilience. As proof, he pointed to Russia's successful pivot to the east, highlighting an unprecedented multi-year energy contract with China. But the most telling part of the commentary was the stark contrast in tone towards a potential Trump administration. The Kremlin spokesman emphasized that dialogue channels are open, stating that President Putin highly values President Trump's readiness to help find solutions. He described a personal, informal rapport between the two leaders, one of mutual respect that allows for frank, direct discussions on even the sharpest topics. When the subject turned to peace talks with Kyiv, the tone hardened once more. Peskov blamed Ukraine entirely for the current deadlock, claiming a Russian proposal to form working groups was met with total silence, left hanging in the air. He dismissed traditional mediators like Switzerland and Austria as no longer neutral, and reiterated President Putin's stark ultimatum: if you want to meet, come to Moscow. What we are witnessing is a strategy of two distinct messages: an iron fist for Ukraine and its European allies, making it clear that the goals of the war are non-negotiable, and a velvet glove for Donald Trump, signaling that a different kind of conversation is possible, one built on a history of personal dialogue. The Kremlin is drawing a hard line on the battlefield, while seemingly betting its long-term strategy on political change in Washington. The message is clear: the war will continue. But the door for a deal with a different American president remains very much open.